What's happening, film nerds? Dave the Film Junkie here. Oh my god, I can't believe Batgirl is going to be directed by the evil white man. Yeah, here we go again, guys. That's right. Majority of the nerd community, I mean, you had difference of opinions here, but, of course, then you have this third opinion. When it was announced that Joss Whedon was going to write and direct a Batgirl movie, you had a bunch of people going, fucking hey, that's awesome. It's Joss Whedon. Then you had real diehard DC fanboys go like, really fucking Joss Whedon? And then you have the progressive side, going, oh my god, you're going to have a white man direct a Batgirl movie? Ugh. And then you have this guy right here, Scott Middleton. If a woman can't direct Batgirl, what the heck can she direct? And I actually retweeted this. I go, I don't know, the Flash movie? And the reason why I said that is because I thought, okay, why does a female director have to direct a female superhero movie? Why can't she direct a male superhero movie? And then, of course, somebody actually debated with me saying, like, well, that's never going to be the case. It never happens. You never see a female director on the short list, and blah, blah, blah. And I started debating with them, and I'm just going, okay, what everybody is seeing, what these people see, and I always love it too, because it seems like these people always know what's going on behind the scenes. They always know, like, yeah, this is the short list. I'm like, yeah, these short lists come out because it's all from source. It's all about he said, she said stuff. It's never fully right. Sometimes when they say a director's on a short list, I use logic and go, no, that guy has 2 other movies down the pipeline. Why the fuck would he even be considered? Because a lot of people just don't use logic sometimes. They don't look at the filmography. Blah, 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 and so we think like we automatically know what's going on. When there's been female directors considered for these roles. I mean, Patty Jenkins, who ended up getting Wonder Woman, of course, was up for Thor the Dark World, but she parted ways with Marvel Studios. Didn't work out. Ava, I can't remember her last name. She's the Martin Luther King movie, I believe. She was up for the Black Panther movie, but she dropped out. She said she didn't take it on, but she's going to take on a book adaptation that's coming out next year, which is a big movie, and that's a big deal. So there have been ones that considered. Also, there's also been a female director that has directed one of the most brooding male heroes in the Marvel universe, which is The Punisher Warzone, directed by Lexi Alexander. Some people don't even realize that. You go like, oh, it's never been happened. It's like, yeah, well, it did happen one time, and that was actually a really good Punisher movie. Better than that stupid Thomas Jane Tampa Bay John Travolta shit. Jesus Christ. God, what were they thinking with that first Punisher movie? Thomas Jane was good. That was about it. Tampa Bay, that apartment building with the weird people and fucking Rebecca Romaine Stamos just like in there for some reason, this gorgeous woman, and Tampa Bay. That's what I couldn't get past. I'm like, you put them in Hell's Kitchen. You don't put them in Tampa Bay. Anyways, she did make a really good Punisher movie, Punisher Warzone. It was a good movie. So it has happened before, and a lot of people go, well, it needs to have more. They need to be considered more. Yes, I get that. They do. Honest, but we don't know like if they're going in there pitching these ideas. Has there been someone that walked in and said and pitched a female director? Has she gone in and pitched a Batgirl idea to Warner Brothers, or has Joss Whedon pitched this idea and that's it? And I started thinking about it. I'm going, okay, it's not these studios aren't looking at gender. They're not looking at skin color. I mean, I guess sometimes they do, especially with the Black Panther stuff. They're like, yeah, we're gonna get a black guy to do it. Don't worry, our black director. And it's just even Anthony Mackie said, no, it shouldn't be about skin color. And I love that he said that, because it isn't. It shouldn't be about that. It should be about if they can handle the task. Do they know the source material? What's their resume like? I think, with Patty Jenkins doing Wonder Woman, it's like, yeah, but it just seems like she already had this knowledge, because she was going to take on Thor, which is pretty similar to Wonder Woman, and you could tell that she knew the source material. She studied up on it. Jeff Johns was extremely confident in her, and so was Zack Snyder. So it worked out that way. So when it comes to Joss Whedon, look at his resume. He gave us one of the best superhero movies ever, The Avengers. And he also gave us one of the best female-driven shows in the 90s, which was Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So when you look at that, when Warner Brothers is considering that, they're gonna look at that resume more than anything else, more than skin color, gender, sexual preference, whatever the fuck. Yeah, they're gonna look at that more. Even if he was going up against the guy, if it was like another movie, another hero, if it was for The Flash, and they were considering another dude and him, they're going to go for Joss Whedon because he's a name and he's got a great resume. It has nothing to do with being sexist or anything like that. Nothing. Now, obviously, when it comes to these big movies, it just seems like, growing up, especially with me, and if you look at the demographics to comic books, yes, it always appealed to boys more. So boys were going to always know more of the source material than girls. That has shifted now. There's a lot more female comic book readers that we've seen, but it's still pretty male driven because you go into a comic book shop, like I still do, you mainly see guys, but you do see a lot more girls, which is great. So there's going to be more female directors that are going to start jumping into these movies, I think. I just don't like the whole segregation. She has to direct a female superhero. I want to see both. Let's just see a mix. And we're starting to see that too. Especially when it comes to DC, it seems like they're really mixing it up. They're just trying to get the best person for the job. They're really going for big names. I mean, with Mel Gibson for Suicide Squad, you got Matt Reeves for Batman. They're going for the big names. Another thing that bothers me too is these people don't look behind the scenes. They don't look at the producers of these movies. You don't have a DCEU without Deborah Snyder. You think Zack Snyder doesn't consult her with every decision that they make? Yeah, let's get real, guys. You don't have a Star Wars or any iconic Steven Spielberg flick without a Kathleen Kennedy. These people don't look at that. And look at Amy Pascal for Sony. Of course, she's made some bad decisions, but still, you don't really have a Spider-Man without Amy Pascal. The producer side, these female producers don't get recognized because everybody's going like, no, you can't do this. Director. I'm sitting there going, well, how about producer? They are making some big decisions behind the scenes, but you're too busy worried about the director. And I'm just going, recognize that. Why can't we recognize that? And nobody really does. Because like I said, you don't have a DCEU without Deborah Snyder. She is a big part of the brain trust. But everybody fails to realize that. They just want to look at the director. Look behind the scenes too. There are women producers out there that have been doing it for a long time, but yet nobody seems to recognize it because they want them forefront. It's just like, it just gets frustrating, guys. And you know what? It's getting better. It is getting better. We're going to see Patty Jenkins is becoming one of the first superhero directors that have directed one of these big budget movies, and that's opening doors, more doors, okay? And it just seems like nowadays, even though people don't seem to think like this, there's equal opportunity out there, but there's not going to be equal outcome, okay? Yeah, okay? Ang Lee once made a Hulk movie, and guess what? That didn't really work out so well, so he hasn't really made a superhero movie since. It just happens. Okay? You have to produce, when you have a good resume and you produce something that is critically successful and box office success, guess what? It's going to be on your resume and people are going to look at you. You just got to get there. And I think that's what's going to happen. Patty Jenkins is going to be with us for a long time. She's going to make some great movies. Probably a Wonder Woman sequel. You never know. She could be directing a Justice League movie in the future or one of the other superheroes in the future. So it's happening. It's happening. It's just, you can't just go like, oh, we got to hire. These studios aren't just going to go, we got to hire this person because she's a female or because they're this color or something like that. You can't just do that. You got to have the right person for the job. They have to have that knowledge of the source material, and they have to have a good resume to know that they could direct a movie with this kind of magnitude. These movies are huge. There is a lot of pressure on these directors to produce something that's going to be commercially successful as well as critically. Well, because those now work together because of Rotten Tomatoes, obviously. So there you go, guys. That was my little spiel about it because I did tweet out something and it just made the rounds. A lot of people liked the tweet that I said, there is a woman behind the DCEU brain trust, and she's a huge part of it, and that's Deborah Snyder. And so let's recognize these female producers and not just cry that there's not more female directors, because behind these movies don't exist. These big, huge movies, iconic movies, Star Wars, these DC movies, even like the Fox Marvel movies. I forgot what her name is, but Logan and Deadpool. There's a female producer behind those movies too. Let's recognize them as well. Let's not just cry about the directors. Recognize these female producers as well. Please. All right, guys. Let me know your thoughts about this down below in the balls area. Sorry, I just rambled on and on about this. This is a longer video than I normally do, but I just, sometimes it just gets a little, you try to talk, you try to debate with somebody and all they're just saying is like, no, there's got to be more and more and more. And it's like, ugh. Why do you insist? And then you got writers like with that one saying like, oh, it's got to be a female director directing Batgirl. It's like, No, have a female director direct Flash. That would be some awesome shit. If Warner Brothers brought on a female director that was ambitious, knew Flash, and had a really good idea, and they worked well together and brought on as Flash, guess what? It would just be like, no one could gripe. No one could gripe anymore about that shit. So that'd be kind of cool. But like I said, they're going to have the right person for the job. I want Tim Miller Flash, though. Anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts about it down below in the balls area. What do you think about all this? Be gentle. I'm sorry if you don't attack me. No, I know you guys won't. You guys probably feel similar as I do. But let me know your thoughts about it down below. Please hit that like, thumbs up button if you'd be so kind. Subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to the other channel. Follow me in the social media stuff right up there. Also started a Patreon account too, or I've had a Patreon, just updated it. Help me out if you feel like it. If you don't, that's fine. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later.